Welcome, Wildcat Network, to this wonderful interview. I have here with me Coach Savage with the cross country. How are you today, sir?
We're doing all right. Look forward to get a little time, kind of talk cross country and a little bit about our season.
All righty. So this is your seventh season. You had a 4-year hiatus and you returned in 2019.
Yes, kind of mid-year deal. Came back January of 2019, so we jumped right in to our indoor season. So we didn't have our cross country season that had a chance to work with that group. But we did get into that then the next fall, where it was a first full year back. So
You went to Ottawa University in Kansas, right?
I did. Yeah, that was a few years back. Graduated in '89. I was out there 4 years. Played football, and probably biggest reason going out there. I went for a track scholarship. Ran out there, ran hurdles. Typically the highs, the 400s. Found myself jumping in on 4x1, 4x4. So it was really one of those where you had a chance to fill in. We certainly did. Usually most meets, but then there were meets where we had a chance to focus on specific events as the 110s and the 400s. I had a connection. Parents went to school there, so interesting story that I think is pretty cool. The guy that recruited my dad out there at college was still there coaching when I was looking at going to college. So same coach that recruited my dad ended up recruiting me. So pretty cool experience with that. And really, overall, I think it's very similar to what we talk about when we recruit athletes. We want them to realize they're going to get a great education, and I certainly did there. I think that connection was there. I set foot on campus and really, without a doubt, knew it was going to be a great fit for me and for us at Culver Stockton. That's what we talk about. You're going to get a great education and then figure that part of it out. Whether or not you're a great fit within our program as well. So those are just some very basic things we look for when we recruit. And I think I probably got that from my experience when I was in college, small college field. I had a chance to be involved athletically. Nice smaller campus, small town. So good experience with that as well.
You earned honors in the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference, right?
Yeah. Yep. We ran that. That was our conference. Yes. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The landscape of, I think, the KCAC is really very similar to the Heart of America Conference, and a lot of similarities. I think back in the day we would have said it was a very, very competitive conference, and we certainly say the same thing for our conference now. There's not a time where we'll go to the different meets, whether cross country or we get into the track side of it. Very competitive. We can go from top to bottom, and a lot of great competition. And I think that's the cool thing about it. We get a great representation from coaches that really instill that same philosophy with their athletes, with their team, that they're going to recruit the athletes. And every coach you talk to, it's the opportunity for kids to go out and compete and give it their best. And it really is no different for us. We talk about competing. It's one thing to go to practice and put in your time and hit the workouts that you need to, but we've got to be able to convert workouts we're doing in practice to workouts we're doing. The workouts we're doing then carry over once we hit meet day and we get to racing.
So. And after college, you did kind of work in Quincy coaching for a football team, correct?
I did. I actually, when I graduated, I'll back up a little bit. Taught 4 years out in Kansas, moved back to Illinois, about 35 minutes where I grew up. So I was in public education for about 12 years, and then collegiately jumped on board at QU and coached football, which that transitioned wasn't so much cross country. I think when I took over that part of the program, it was more indoor, outdoor, and then was going to cycle back through into the fall. But had a football background, and then QU started up track there. They had some interest, so really jumped in and started in with that program. First indoor, outdoor track, and then to get into the cross side of it. And really got my start there. So I think, quite honestly, gave me that background in the coaching ranks, where certainly is one thing, and enjoyed that time. But it was one thing coaching, public school, public education, but that chance to step into the collegiate world, I really, I guess, found my niche that's somewhere that I wanted to be. So it was really a lot of good coaches that gave me a chance. A lot of good coaches that I was able to coach with. So really made that a good experience while I was there.
That's awesome. But so how has coaching during COVID been for you? Like, has it been real difficult, or has it been easy, or?
It's been different. There's times where it's been challenging, just trying to map out, the things that you have to do that obviously are put forth, by the college, by our conference, by the NAIA. The one thing that has been a little bit easier for us has been the simple fact that we're an outdoor sport. So when we talk cross country, we run outdoors, and we just know in general that our parameters are a little bit different, being an indoor sport versus the outdoor sport. So we have some flexibility. We did host would have been September 5th. We ran out at the golf course just outside of town. So, we were kind of the first ones to jump on board and really have a competition. So the planning for that, I guess, was more where your challenges came into play. Not that you would disagree with here's what we have to do, but it was making sure we had exactly what we needed to do, and then we had to make sure all the other schools we invited, were on the same page as the expectations we had. So kind of the rules and procedures we had to put in play, and then make sure teams were to follow that. Simple things like when schools got there, when colleges got there on that day of competition, we had to check them in. So there's kind of a procedure in doing that. More importantly for us on race day, our start line, one of the parameters or one of the things we had to do, the guidelines was, can we spread out our start line? And we did that. We not only, I think we ended up having 5 schools, so we maybe had 10. In cross country, you have a start line, but everybody has designated a particular box number for where each team's going to line up. So we did that. We put an empty box in between each team just to spread it out. Within our team setup, our team box, then we kind of made that box big enough so that everybody can scatter or kind of be 6 feet apart from each other. So we did a little bit of a stagger start where 2 on the front, 6 feet behind that. Then we had basically 3 and 4, 6 feet behind that. 5 and 6, and so on and so on. So it worked out pretty good. Nice thing about that, and this was one of the things when you try to get organized, a lot of different thoughts and ideas. How do you actually start? Because typically you bunch up at the start. I mean, everybody goes to the start line. There you are. Everybody's standing next to each other. You kind of huddle. We had to get that part of it figured out. So did you do a wave start, like 1 and 2 from every team started? Did you start a team, like Culver Stockton would start, and then 30 seconds later, the next school? What we finally were able to come up with was the design that I just explained. So everybody started at the same time, but it allowed us to kind of spread everybody out. So it wasn't probably, but maybe 5 seconds difference there. There wasn't that much of a gap from the very first 2 to whoever was, 7 and 8 or 9 and 10, back from the start line. So we were able to do that, which I certainly was thankful for that, because it allowed us to start and everybody ran at the same time. So those are probably the basic things we did. Had to spread out team camps, couldn't huddle. Everybody's notorious for get to the start line. Everybody kind of gets a couple stride outs. Couldn't do that because they didn't want us to huddle. So those were a few of the big changes that we did. But I joked, you always get to a point where you have to plan, get everything organized. It was always nice to get to race day because you knew that we were ready to roll, and race day was actually here. So, that was the other reality. We hadn't really done anything at all since last March. So this was the first time, we had our outdoor season canceled, but it still was a chance for us to actually get into some competition. And I know a lot of kids, a lot of coaches were excited about that.
So you basically just answered 2 of my questions, because I asked about coaching, and then you also went into meets as well, how they've been different and stuff. Next question: have you talked to President Palmer, who was a big fan of cross country?
He was actually there that day that we raced out there. So I think it's great. We'll tell our kids all the time that I have expectations. They should have expectations, as athletes. And part of that, I guess from a coach's perspective, from an athlete's perspective, is, you're here to get an education. So that is an expectation. I expect them to go to class. They should expect. That's part of it. You got to go to class. You got to study. You got to do those things. Right now we're young. But that's our expectation. We do 2 things. We continue to recruit to get better. We also look at it from this perspective, and again, it's that expectation. We look to develop. There's no reason why from the very first meet that we shouldn't see improvement. We shouldn't develop as athletes. We need to develop as cross-country runners. That's exactly what we do and have to do. But his expectation, really has been more global with athletics in general. I think, he has spoken a great deal about, overall improvement. So it's not just for cross country, but it's fun. It's fun because he's got that background. I guess I sometimes hesitant to, talk shop with him. I'd love to. I know he's busy, getting things going from a presidential perspective. So we've talked. We talked while we were at the meet. It was fun to do that. It was fun to have him there. But no, we haven't had a chance kind of talk the X's and O's and workouts and things like that. That certainly may come down the road where we get a chance to do that. But it's fun. I think he's very committed overall. I I don't think it's something that just because he's had that background, cross country's got it made. I don't take it that way at all. He's committed to all our athletes, all our programs. He's committed academically as well, and that's fun to see. Really look forward to that.
Awesome. That is awesome to hear. How has recruiting been going, especially with the COVID?
I think a lot of that is, perspective, how you think it's going to go. I think in a way, you can assume, oh man, nobody's going to be interested. Nobody's ever going to want to, get away from home and go to a college that just the uncertainty is there. In a lot of ways, I think we're in the same boat as everybody else. A lot of colleges out there are dealing with the same parameters, same protocol in a lot of ways. We're still dealing with it and have to be smart in what we're doing. I think when I talk about perspective, I think it becomes your perspective or mindset. If you think you're not going to be able to get kids or you're not going to be able to talk to kids, then I think you talk yourself out of that great opportunity to try to catch up with kids and really talk about the program, talk about the college in general. I think the flip side to that, I think there were more kids home, especially last year. During that time, I think we probably had a chance to catch kids that were home or doing the online. So many times, you're limited to be able to speak with kids, or you maybe catch them of an evening because they've been busy with their day at school. So that was a little bit easier. The college is very good as we kind of move forward, to this year, and we're prepping obviously for next year. For example, the college has done, as a result of not being able to have kids go take the ACT or the SAT, we do the test optional, which, if kids have certain GPA, then they can also get accepted that way. So, the college is very good about doing some things and trying to help out. We've tried to, maybe do some more emails, going that route, trying to reach out to kids. If we can talk to kids via the phone, we'll do that. Zoom has become very popular, and I think really, quite honestly, probably not a bad idea. I think that's really another way to kind of get a Zoom set up and maybe talk with multiple kids, and just really a way to promote the program. So that's come about. I've done probably more FaceTime videos, just on my phone, where I've been talking with kids and we've had those conversations, and we finally have gotten to a point where, hey, have you seen the campus? Maybe a little bit further distance, ask them that question, hey, have you seen the campus? So we'll do a FaceTime video, kind of walk the campus, check it out, and gives them an opportunity, because they are a little bit further away. They still have an opportunity to kind of see what campus looks like. Because we always say, you got to get a chance to get on campus. It doesn't do it justice, looking at pictures. Being here really makes a difference.
Oh yeah, I grew up in this area, in this campus. Like, I've seen it all my life, and pictures never do it justice. It is the most beautiful campus I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So,
especially during the fall when the leaves are falling. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Well, and you're up so high that the best, I always say the best view is up on the quad, there by the fountain, where you can overlook where typically graduation takes place, and you overlook the river. So about any time of the year, it's a great view. And we've run from a workout perspective, we've actually run some workouts there early mornings, so we've caught the sun coming up. Not sure the athletes are thrilled, but it's been fun hitting early morning workouts like that, and being out early morning where you finally see the sun coming up. It's been fun to see it. So been a good deal on that perspective.
Oh yeah, that must be beautiful in the mornings just to see that sunrise from out there. It just shines off the Mississippi.
Yeah, no, it does. It certainly does. And like you said, that's the great thing about the campus. It unique in its own way, and that certainly is the one thing, especially from there up on the quad where you can overlook and see into the Illinois side. So we often talk about that, and talking with recruits, being able to share that perspective. So
I've always wondered if they can see the dome from on the other side of the Illinois side out in them fields.
I've been down on that bottom before. I want to say maybe. I knew where Canton was in general, but I've not looked for the dome. So it's been a while since I've been back down there. I had driven through, so that was the other part where you kind of glance and look, and you don't necessarily focus on, okay, where's the dome. But I bet you could, because you can see some things if you get up, if you're just on the quad or you're in maybe up in the lab and look out, you can see some different landmarks, which I've been through there enough. I kind of know, okay, here's where this is, and try to piece that together. And there's a few little towns on the Illinois side that are kind of your landmarks. So.
All right, I just got one more question for you. How's our season looking this year?
Well, we, I didn't throw this out. With a few of the things we had to do in the organization of the meet itself, it's kind of changed the number of meets that we've had. So we're on a little bit of a gap. In theory, I like to go about every 2 weeks in the design of our training. We'll obviously work through the week. We'll incorporate in some easy runs, and there's some other work that we get done within our workouts. But every 2 weeks, in theory, gives us a chance to compete. And we usually will do that kind of a Friday or Saturday combination. Well, on the off week, then we try to take advantage of a long run. And a long run for us is a really good way just to kind of recover and kind of reset yourself for the week ahead. In cross country in general, the long run is very important to us. So that design every 2 weeks has allowed us to do that. With us scaling back on the number of meets, we've got a little bit of a gap here. So we've been training. The kids have been working hard. Really, quite honestly, I think they're probably ready to get back to racing. We'll get back October 10th. We're going to run up at Cedar Rapids. We'll run at Mount Mercy. Cool thing about that, really fast course. They actually host the national championship there for the NAIA, so it's a really good course that we'll get a chance to run on. So we'll go there the 10th. We're back up there the 24th, and then we were the 24th of October, and then 7th of November we go out to Baker, and we'll run our conference meet out there. So we are kind of midway of our season, 3 to go. So we're kind of hitting our home stretch here. But I think, I know I am. I think the kids are probably ready to get back at it. So we're getting close, getting back into competition.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this interview and to let everybody know what's going on with this season this year. It was great to have you on.
All right. Appreciate the time. Always enjoy jumping on board.
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Wildcat Network. This was Coach Savage here. And this is Remington Yates, and I'm signing out.